Hey everyone, this is Jason. This is a quick video about the Marvel United brand new board game by Simon and Spin Master Games. It is currently in Kickstarter right now. There's a little over a week left. A bunch of people have been asking for a gameplay video, so I made up print up some cards, and I made a video here. It's about a half hour long. Just a heads up on that. I tried to explain the rules as best as I can. I'm hoping you've read the instruction manual that is posted on the Kickstarter page first. And you can see it's a little miniature card game. You play cards in a row. But my tutorial, or my gameplay, kind of go through and sort of explains how to play, how to take turns, like what affects each thing. I just hope it explains some of the questions people have had. I know it's not the best artwork because I had to print stuff off and I wasn't about to use all colored pictures. And it's not like they've printed off every single picture of the cards. But there's a ton of stuff in this game. I'm hoping maybe this video just posted on my page or on what the instructions might explain some more stuff for people, get more people into this so we can unlock the rest of the content. See all the stretch goal characters, Black Panther, Infinity Gauntlet set. There's also those two again, Guardians of the Galaxy, Tales of Asgard with Thor. There's a playmat, which is another thing. So yeah, check out my video. Let me know what you guys think. Bye. Alright, so this is my makeshift version of the game, because people have been wanting the thing. So we got our villain, Red Skull, who is being portrayed by good old Lord Zed from the Power Rangers here. We already have the rest of the board concepts. We have our 6 locations scattered around. And then we have our villain threats, which are Crossbones, Elite Hydra Elite Troops, Brainwashing, Madam Hydra, Bob, Agent of Hydra, and Subversive Strategies. I'm going to apologize right now the quality of the components and everything, but this Kickstarter ends in a couple of days, but a little more than a week. I just wanted to try and get something out, so if some of the text isn't that great or good to see, I'm going to try and play this to the best of my abilities. So, the other thing we have set up is we have our health counters, which would normally be tokens. And I have a threat token, which would be the purple skull, which would go to our clear threats, but I'm just using an extra die right now. And I have some jewel beads here to represent our civilians are yellow, and our thugs are blue. And every location starts with certain ones. They'll be sort of like a faded picture in the little bar here. You can kind of see it's a little faded. So I should show you which ones start there. It doesn't mean that you have to put them there in that order, or those have to be the ones there. The new ones always go to the end. When you take one off, they always slide over. The other thing would be our heroes. So we have red, representing Iron Man, blue, representing Captain America, and pink, representing Captain Marvel. And they're going to start on the opposite side of the field, or the board. And then I have a bunch of tokens, or extra dice here to represent our shared tokens. So we got yellow for heroic, red for attack. I got brown for movement. I have white for wilds. I have black just to represent covering up the heroics on here, so I don't have enough in case I need to share them. We have our extra pile of tokens. And we have our character decks. And normally the decks would all be flipped over. You'd see the back of the character. You draw your 4. And then it'd be, you pick which one you want. I'm just going to kind of set 4 off to the side when I play this. And then I'll play one at a time. I'm not going to try and draw them because I didn't make backs or any of that special stuff there. So I'm going to set this down and then we'll get started. Alright, the other thing I forgot is I give Red Skull health. He has 8 health in this round. Gains health based on how many players they are. So less players is less health, more players is more health. I also forgot I have crisis tokens, which is odd. They don't really mention it in the rule book at all, but like going through the cards I've seen, like Crossbones here, characters get 2 crisis tokens, and then other cards affect if they have certain number of crisis tokens. One of Red Skull's cards said he gains 2 fear every time someone gains. We should probably start one of those too. Gains 2 fear every time for every crisis token someone has. So there's different things like that. To start off, each hero draws 3 cards. At the beginning of their turn, they'll draw their 4th card. And I'm going to have a bunch of camera cuts back and forth, so I do apologize if the sound or video quality is bad. Apologize, I'm just trying to make this quick for everybody. So, first thing we're going to do is flip over a villain card. We are going to start with a Red Skull. Movement of 1. The one thing so far I kind of dislike about this game is it shows an arrow going that way for movement, but in the video they show you going clockwise, so he actually moves. So he moves this direction. So I don't like that the arrow points that way, but he moves this way. Does it matter which way they move? As of right now, I don't see there being an issue on which location they start at or which direction they go, as long as they continuously go the same direction. But since the video had them go clockwise, I'm going to have him go clockwise. So he's going over to the Shield Helicarrier. And then his other effects are going to show his 3 things. They're going to show thugs in all 3 locations. So you always start with the farthest one out to the 3rd one. So we're going to place a thug there. So now that location is full. It has all 4 spots are filled up. And we're going to play 2 on the target, which is where he's at. But what's going to happen is there's only 4 spots there. So we're going to place 1. That is going to activate Red Skull's Civilian Thug, which basically says he gains 1 fear for each extra token. So now he's up to 2. And when he hits 20, he wins. Then we go back and we get 1 for the 3rd location. So the 3rd location is already maxed out. So we have 3 max locations on the very first turn. But then after we've placed all that, we do have this. It says remove all thugs and civilians from this location. Increase Red Skull track by the number of tokens removed. And that's because it has a bullseye. So that means he landed there, and that's what happens. So remove all 4 of them. So it does eliminate the threat from there. We don't have to worry about trying to get to that location right away. But he also goes up 4 more. So he's already at first turn. Red Skull's out already a quarter of the way to winning. That's kind of the pressure of this game. So now the heroes get to go. And they each draw 1 more card. We'll just start that over there. And I don't know all the cards, so I couldn't print out full decks for everybody. So I only got 6 card decks. So I'm not going to be able to play a full game, but I should be able to play at least a few rounds. They won't be 100% since I won't be able to keep drawing. But at least they'll give us the idea of what we want to do. And for some reason, there's a Captain Marvel card in my Iron Man deck. So now as a team, you have to decide who wants to go first, and then you can proceed in whichever order around the table you'd like. So we're just going to start with Iron Man, because he has a great ability here. So his says, Iron Man, distribute 2 attack targets amongst any number of heroes. So what we're going to do is give each one of them an attack token. So now on their turn, or any preceding turn, or not preceding, following turn, they can play an extra attack token. So they can wait until they're on a space with the boss or somewhere else, and then they can do an attack. Now, we have 1 attack to use for Iron Man. Since we're all at this location, we have 2 options. We can... it should be at 5. We can either attack Viper or attack a Thug. Just kind of depending on which one you think is a more serious threat at the moment. I'm going to say, just for the sake of early on, because we don't want to get too many fear tokens from these overrun, we're going to beat up a thug. And that takes care of that. The heroes now get to play 3 cards in a row. So if there's 4th player, it would be Red Skull, Hero, 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 Red Skull, and then the 4th player would go, and then the 1st player, 2nd player, Red Skull. Since there's only 3 players, it's going to be player 1, player 2, player 3, Red Skull. So then we have to pick who we want to go next. And I probably should have had each person draw after we decided. The only reason you don't draw 4 cards right away and skip your draw step, I believe, is 1, because you might land on something that makes you discard, gives you less options to discard. And 2 is because it just gets you right away in that habit of having to draw a card at the beginning of your turn. Plus, if you're the 4th player, there's going to be 2 villains before you have to play a card. So that might make a decision. So, now who do we want to do? So, Captain Marvel does have a special ability where she can do 2 into adjacent location, and she gets 1 attack. I could do 2 wilds and do 2 of anything. Is it good to use up your special abilities right away? It can be. It might not be. It might help you end things quicker. We have a leadership from Captain America, which gives out a wild, and then also lets us use a heroic. So the wilds count as any of the 3, in case you didn't read the books. The movement lets you move 1 space for each movement symbol. The attacks let you do attacks, and heroics lets you rescue civilians, or use heroics to defeat the threats that aren't henchmen, or use attacks to defeat the henchmen. So, why don't we use Energy Blast right off the bat? So we'll place down Energy Blast. So the first thing's going to be get 2 attacks in an adjacent location. So she can do 2 attacks in one direction or the other, but not on her. So there's no enemies there, so there's no point for her to attack there. But she can remove 2 that way. And since Red Skull is moving in this direction, it's not a bad idea. So we'll eliminate 2 of those. And now she still has a punch. And she also has a token. She's going to spend her token. And we're going to do 2 damage to Madam Hydra here. Bring her down to 3 health. So she's almost half dead. Now, she also gains, though she does not gain the special ability from Tony Stark's card, or Iron Man's card, but she does gain the additional attack. So she's going to hit her for 1 more. Brings her down to 2. So, on the state of the game after the end of the 2nd turn, is we've managed to have 2 boards, or 1 board that's completely full, 1 board that's almost empty, another one's almost empty, and a henchman that's almost empty. And none of the heroes have moved. So now we have a 3rd one. So what we're going to do is have Captain America. He's going to play his leadership ability. So, now he says he can give 1 wild to any other hero. Since Iron Man's the next hero, we're going to go ahead and give him a wild token. That lets him have a little bit more options on his next turn if he needs it. I have 1 attack for Captain America, plus the preceding one for Captain Marvel. So I can do 2 attack. So what we're going to do right away is just 2 attack, bash out this villain. Madam Hydra is done. We don't even have to deal with her. Her purple threat token goes here. Now we're a quarter of the way of defeating our threats. Oh, and I have not been doing this right. We cleaned out 3 thugs, so we actually move our thug counters onto this board. So we're actually a third of the way of defeating that too. And that's turn 3, basically. So, that's not doing too bad. But, now we have to deal with the Red Skull again. Boom. Red Skull is going to move 3 spaces. So, 1, 2, 3. He is now at The Avengers Mansion. He's going to cause some trouble. So that's the first thing he does. He's going to play. These are all civilian counters. So he's going to play one more here. One more here. And one more here. So now that's spoke up. So that actually wasn't too bad for us. That one's one away from finishing. And I think the Avengers Tower only has 3 spots. So that's one away. So they're easy enough to clean out. We can try, what we probably want to do is get over here, but moving across the board with these specific characters might not be super easy. But we also have brainwashing. Heroes in this and adjacent locations take 1 crisis token. Oh no, all our heroes are over in the adjacent location. So they're all going to take a crisis token. So we'll just stick that up on top here. So right now, it doesn't initially affect us at all, taking them crisis tokens. But what it will do is later, if something happens, or other villains, or other things, download all the cards in all the game, there's so many characters, that might end up being really bad for us. But now we just start back over. Each character draws a card. But so it's actually Iron Man draws his card because it's his turn. So he does have a special ability, Power Charge. You may go back up to 3 cards in your hand. So I have 4 cards. Why is that helpful? Because as you take damage from villains, you have to discard cards. So you can get down to 2 cards or 1 card. As soon as you have no cards in your hand, your heroes KO over. They get knocked over. And you take all cards. And you have all. So when you take damage, when you start over, you take damage, you put cards on the bottom of your deck. So you don't lose them, but eventually you're going to play through all your hand and run out of cards. But if you have no cards in your hand, you tip your deck over, your character over, beginning of your turn, you draw 4 more cards. You basically lose a turn. So that's not super helpful. So that lets you get up cards quicker so you don't have to worry about getting KO'd. So that card doesn't help us right now. So we could do a heroic and rescue a civilian. We could do a wild card and do anything. Or we could do 2 punches. Now here's the problem. I have no movement. I can't attack the villain until we beat something. And we're closest right now are either doing threats or doing thugs. So what we could do though, spend our wild as a movement. So Iron Man is going to zip. Now, the villain can only move in one direction. The heroes can move any direction, but only one space. So we're going to move over here, and we're going to play this double attack card. And we're going to punch the crap out of Bob. But we also skip over the villain, and we gain the extra attack here. So we're going to do 3 attack. So that puts him down to 1 damage. The nice thing about taking care of those guys right away is that we don't take damage when the BAM effects or whatever their things do. But on the downside is, you gotta try and get rid of everything. So you don't want to just focus on one, because then you're gonna keep getting hit with all these other ones. There's no correct way to do it. Alright, turn number 2 for Captain Marvel. So, wild, double move, double wild, or double fist. See, now what we could do is, because we have 2 fists over here on Iron Man, we could do a double move and move 2 spaces and punch him stuff. So why don't we do that? Captain Marvel, the Pink Ranger, is going to fly over here to New York. There are 2 thugs. We're going to punch both of those thugs. Get them off. Just because that way if Red Skull lands here, he's not going to overwhelm that and gain more fear right away. So that was our 2 movement, and here are 2 things. So her turn is done. Captain America is going to go. And what does Captain America want to do? He has a movement, 2 heroics, a movement and attack. A heroic, there's nothing for him. He can do heroic and rescue some civilians if he'd like. clean up that area a bit. But he also does have 2 movement. Why don't we do this? We'll play his double heroic. So now he's got 2 movement. He's going to also move over here. And he's got his 2 heroic. But rather than rescuing the 2 civilians, we're going to use his wild that he had. Thanks to Captain Marvel on her last turn. Oh no, this is, I have played this completely wrong. That's not a movement, that's a move token. That is fine though. I thought that was, she actually didn't have a wild, she had an attack token, which is fine, she did do an attack. But that's a move token, from Iron Man. I was thinking it was a random, or a wild. But that's fine. I can still place down 2 heroic counters. So what we're going to do is place them there. And that gets us that much closer to beating that. Now we have to fight the Red Skull again. Next, Red Skull. Oh no, this is on his special card. It is Hail Hydra. He moves 0 spaces. But he removes all the civilians from the location with heroes, dealing 1 damage to the heroes there. Advance the fear tracker equal to the number of villains. So we're going to remove both of these civilians, but they don't go on the rescued civilians. They were not rescued. They were Hydra agents, and remove 1 there. And that was 3 tokens. And since he was also still in this location, that counts as him. I believe that still counts as him being here, even though he didn't move there. That might be a rule clarification question, but I'm going to treat it, since it's still there, that both of these 2 guys gain another crisis token. Alright, so that wasn't too terrible, but it did get him a little bit closer. Alright, so now we're going back to our heroes. Iron Man gets to play. So from Captain America, he's going to have 2 heroics. But what he does not have is a movement ability. And is there anything heroic he can do on that spot? No, he could punch 1 though. So what he's just going to do, because we don't want to really waste those 2 heroics that we have from Captain America. So he's going to use a double wild. He's going to treat 1 wild as an attack. And we're going to punch him. That defeats another villain. Look at that, we got 2 threats out of the way. And now he has 2 movement. And we don't have to move both movement spaces. But we're going to. We're going to move 2 to here. So now we're at crossbone spot. We still have 1 wild. Oh, I am wrong. Those are heroic spots. That's fine. We use 1... Sorry. We use 1 wild. I was getting ahead of myself trying to plan this. We had 1 wild we use as an attack. We're going to use the other wild as a move. And we are going to move to the shield helicarrier. And then we're going to use the 2 heroics Captain America gave us to cover up 2 more of those threats. So now how we're standing on this turn is we're 1 heroic away from completing this threat, 1 heroic away from completing this threat. If we can beat him, but we don't need to do all 3 of them. We only need to complete 2 more threats. We're only 4 thugs away, but we're still a ton of civilians. So these vendors are more aggressive. They're not really worried about rescuing people. That's fine. Alright. So then we have Captain Marvel. So we're going to have 2 wilds. We can do pretty much anything we need to do. So we can definitely play 1 heroic there, finish off that quest. But I think we need to move over here and start working on crossbones before we get hit with that ability. So we'll play double attack. So she's going to use one heroic. I'll give her 2 wilds from Iron Man to complete this one. And this will go away. The only other thing I have not brought up so far is if they end their movement after a threat, there are special abilities that each location have. I just couldn't find a good enough text to show what all of them are, so that's why I'm kind of sticking on it. But there is a reason to maybe go back, because even if there's no threat here, there might be civilians or thugs you can go back and beat up. So there's a reason to keep going back to locations you've been to. So now she used 1 wild there, she can use a 2nd wild to move, and she has 2 attack. But rather than attack Crossbones right now, she's going to get rid of 2 more thugs. Why? Because that location was full, and if Red Skull lands there, he's going to get a bunch of stuff. Plus the fact is, we're almost done with that one. So that's her turn. Now we have Captain. Draws his card. And what do we want Captain? We'd like him to rescue 2 thugs. Problem is, there are not 2 thugs in any locations. And he's going to have 2 attack. So he is going to play a move attack. And then I'm kind of like shifting these this way, but this should go in a giant round circle, but I don't want to keep flipping my camera that much. So he's got a move and an attack. He's going to move. The captains are sticking together. And now he's got 3 attack total. So we're going to hit him for 3. So he's half done as well. So our next turn, Red Skull has to go first, but we have a chance for cleaning off the thugs, cleaning up. So we have some good opportunities here. We're only on turn 3 for the bad guys. Alright, so there's our next one. Oh, help if I don't cover up the lens. Alright. Red Skull really wants to hang out on the Avengers Mansion and then try and destroy the Avengers. So he has a Red Skull plan. So he moves 0 again. And he does have a special ability, but first he has a BAM ability. So we haven't come across that yet. So his BAM ability himself says, deals 1 damage to each hero in a location, so there are no locations, doesn't punch anybody, and increase the fear track 2. So it does go 2 spaces. But then we also resolve any other bad guy's BAM. Magnum Hydra would have had a BAM attack, but we defeated her, so that was good. But Crossbones still has one. He says, deals 2 damage to all heroes in this location. The hero can prevent this by taking 2 crisis tokens. So now is where you get into the thing and you have to decide. Our heroes all have 3 cards, so they can discard. They're going to take 2 damage, means they're going to have to discard. Not discard, but put them on the bottom of their deck. 2 more cards, which only leaves them 1 option on the next turn, or 2 options because they'll draw a card. We also get them that much closer to being KO'd. Or they can take 2 crisis tokens. So let's just say, alright, Captain America's like, you know what, I can take some crisis tokens. I have a little bit bigger deck. He's going to take 2 crisis tokens. But Captain Marvel's like, nah, I'm going to bounce out, not take the damage. Or she's going to take the damage. So she does that, so these guys go back to her deck. She's down to 1 card. Now, we'll see if that was a smart move for her. Because Red Skull has a plan here, and this is what the players should have realized. So finish reading this before they make your choice. Heroes increase the Red Skull's track the number of their crisis tokens. So there's a good conjunction there. So, you know, Captain America probably should have just taken the 2 damage. Because now he's got 4 tokens. We have 5, 6, 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now at the end of this turn, he's only 3 away from winning. Captain America could have saved us 2 more tokens just by taking the damage. So that kind of leaves us in a bad spot, because we can't even attack him yet, and he's almost done. Luckily, none of the areas are full, but all she really has to do is get another BAM attack, and that could be the end of it. Or get something else that's even worse. But let's start with Iron Man, see what we get. Alright, so we have Iron Man. He's going to get 1 movement and 1 attack. So why don't we just do this really simple here. He's going to play a heroic. So he's going to play his heroic here on that location, which will defeat that. That token there. So now we've unlocked that. So basically what happens is this gets moved. All of these slide down. And then underneath the board here where these would be covering, there are different options. Now the first one says, and so I don't have it wrote down here, it says that now the villain plays a card every 2 turns instead of every 3. So we really need to... But we need to defeat this second one, either one of them, before we can attack him. But we have to start somewhere. So Iron Man still has a move and attack. So he's going to move here, attack this thug. So that leaves us with 1 away from being able to uncover that. Captain Marvel's going to go. And she's got 1 heroic. And then she's got a couple of wilds here we can play. So let's just do the wilds. Use a heroic, we're going to rescue a civilian. Let's try and start working on that. We don't need to do that to beat the Red Skull, but it's something we can do. Using one of our wilds, we're going to attack. That is going to clean off this threat, or mission. I'm going to set that one aside too. So then the next one's actually going to say, now we can start attacking Red Skull. So now she has 1 more wild she can go attack. She has an option of either attacking Crossbones, which she might just do, do I need to get rid of this threat first, or I need to get rid of Red Skull? She needs to get rid of Red Skull, but the problem is she's not in the same area. So she's just going to punch him, brings him down to 2. Now normally before, Captain America would have went. But because of the new board being unreal, the villains under pressure, they're attacking more often. So we're going to see what happens. Oh, he drew a big move 5. And he gets a bunch of different stuff. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Basically, should have just moved them back. There's 6 locations. Okay, this could be definitely very bad. So, a thug and a civilian here. She's going to gain 2 thugs. So, 1 will max that out, but then he's going to gain 3 more. Because he has 1 more thug and 2 more civilians. Problem is each time you do that, 1, 2, 3. And then the next location would gain 1 thug and 1. So I was going to say, if it hits 20, which it hit exactly on 20, I don't know if it actually wins right away or if it has to get past 20. It says right here, I just can't read it. But it wouldn't have made a difference because we had to play 2 more guys on here and we only had room for 1. So he would have gained 1 more at the end of this turn anyhow. So, unfortunately, in this scenario, all of our heroes have lost. Because they couldn't beat Red Skull fast enough. But they survived 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 turns. So that's not bad. Which this also kind of answers a question I had posed about the Infinity Gauntlet expansion. Which asked if, because the first Infinity Stone is after the villain's 6th turn, is if you could even defeat the villain in 6 turns. After playing around to this, I generally believe that if you play the proper way, get lucky cards, certain characters, you could probably definitely beat a villain before turn 6. It would be very hard, very unlikely, but I think it's possible. I hope that this basic gameplay sort of explains some of the questions people had. I know it's not official cards. I didn't I may have not played every rule 100%, but I'm hoping it'll give some people an idea. Thanks, bye.